We're joined now by House Speaker John Boehner. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
So I want to get to presidential politics in a second, but let's start with the State of the Union address. President Obama spoke this week, and you said that his message is, quote, running on the politics of division and envy, and to you, it's almost un-American. What do you mean by that?
Listen, the president doubled down on the same failed policies that have not worked. Matter of fact, they've made the economy worse. Higher taxes, more spending, more regulation. And what I'm talking about here is the politics of dividing America, the politics of envy. This is not the American way. And you know, if the president won't work with us to help create jobs, I'm sure the American people will elect someone who will.
Let's talk about what can possibly be achieved in this very bitterly divided environment. Here's Vice President Biden talking to George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America just a few days ago.
What's the one bill President Obama must have on his desk, must sign into law this year, and how will he work with Congress to get it done?
Extension of the middle-class tax cut. Single most urgent thing to do. No excuse. Should be done now. Should be done immediately.
Can you commit to that legislation, and will it be a clean bill?
Well, I don't know exactly what he's referring to, but extending the payroll tax credit that the president has called for, the House has already passed the year-long extension. We are in a formal conference with the Senate, and I'm confident that we'll be able to resolve this fairly quickly.
In any of the president's proposals, tax proposals that he introduced at the State of the Union, including the one that would discourage manufacturers from moving overseas to take advantage of lower taxes abroad, did you hear anything that you could support and House Republicans would vote for?
Well, the president's got an awful lot of good ideas. But, you know, the president's own Jobs Council has endorsed many of the Republican ideas. We've passed 30 bills in the House that would help get our economy moving again. 27 of them are sitting over the United States Senate.
One of your own members, Republican Congressman Lynn Westmoreland of Georgia, said this about the remark you just made about 30 jobs bills already having passed the House and not having passed the Senate. He said, quote, we need to quit passing bills over here and cheering for ourselves when we know they're dead on arrival over there in the Senate. His point is that without coordinating with the Senate to make sure that there is momentum for these bills and that these bills cannot only just get through the House, but can also get through the Senate, it's meaningless. Doesn't he have a point?
Well, we have a bicameral system. You know, we have the House of Representatives, 435 members from all 50 states. You've got the United States Senate. We can't control what the Senate does or doesn't do.
We can talk to them.
We do talk to them, and I've talked to Harry Reid about moving these bills. But the House has to do its job, and the House has done its job. We've moved these bills. We've sent them over to the Senate. It's time for the Senate to do their job.
But isn't the point that without coordinating with the Senate before they pass the House, knowing that there's a chance that they will get a majority vote, can get the 60 votes needed to come to the floor?
But how do you know you have 60 votes or you don't have 60 votes in the Senate unless the House does its job and moves this bill over there?
Well, next week you're introducing the American Energy and Infrastructure Jobs Act. Will you attach the Keystone Bill to that?
If it's not enacted before we take up the American Energy and Infrastructure Jobs Act, it'll be part of it.
Let's turn to presidential politics. I know you're very eager to plunge into the waters.
Oh, I can't wait.
Former Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole warns that nominating your predecessor, House Speaker Newt Gingrich, could drag down the whole party in November. He writes that when he ran for president in 1996, quote, the Democrats greeted me with a number of negative TV ads, and in every one of them, Newt was in the ad. He was very unpopular, and I am not only certain that this did not help me, but that it cost House seats that year.
Well, I think you know that Newt and I have been friends. We've worked together closely during the mid-90s, but we've got four great candidates. And I just think that the process has to play out, and out of this process we'll get a candidate. And I'm confident that whoever that candidate is will be someone I can support and that our team can support.
You were in the House leadership when Gingrich was Speaker. You had some well-documented clashes with him. I understand that you guys have buried the hatchet since then, but you had some clashes with him. Do you think he has the managerial skills and the temperament to be president of the United States?
You know I'm not going to talk about this presidential primary race because I've made it clear to everyone that it's just not, I'm the Speaker of the House. I've got a big job to do up on the Hill. That's where my focus is, and this primary process will take care of itself.
My last question for you, Speaker Boehner. You got pretty emotional this week during the farewell to Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Tell us what it was like to accept her resignation letter.
Well, she's been through an awful lot, and her constituents, those who lost their lives about a year ago, And it was I've never quite seen a farewell in the House like this. A bipartisan effort. All the members were there. Sad day for the House.
Sad day for you personally?
Yep. But a very brave lady.
Speaker Boehner, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.